Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I thought I'd show you how I made these fun fall party favors. These could be used for your Thanksgiving dinner, and if you don't attach the little topper to a bag or a party favor, you could use it as a place setting as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the images we're going to be using today. So for our image today, we're using a brand new set from Art Impressions. This is the Harvest Pumpkin set, and you can see all these cute little images that you get of these pumpkins stacked up tall or clustered together, or that individual pumpkin, and then all the little sprigs that go with it. Now this is from the watercolor journal set. So these are designed to coordinate with the other stamps in the watercolor series, but today we're just going to use this individually. So I've got my Versafine Onyx black ink, which is a permanent black ink, and for paper I'm using the Strathmore Bristol Smooth 100-pound cardstock. So let's go ahead and grab this little cluster of pumpkins, and we're going to be stamping this 4 times. I'm going to make 4 of these little goodie bags at one time. So I like to just do all my stamping at once, then do all my coloring and kind of create a little bit of a production line. I just find it's a lot easier and a lot faster if you have a lot of these to make. So I'm just using my little STAMPendable stamp press to press those down. And then I'll go ahead and rotate that paper and stamp this again. And then I'll move that stamp over, rotate my paper and stamp it 2 more times. So for coloring, I'm going to start with the green gray, and these are the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens, which I've said many times are a water-based marker, and so you can use your blender pen to do your blending. This is the Zig blender pen, and you could also use a water brush here if you prefer that. So with the color combination, I'm going to be going kind of with the green gray, the pumpkin orange, and then some white pumpkins, which we'll just give a little shadow to. So I'm sort of following the packaging somewhat. That's a great source for your coloring. Just go to the packaging, and there's always fantastic ideas on Art Impressions packaging for coloring ideas, and there's also great samples on there for where to place your shadows as well. So if you're not sure, just put that packaging right in front of you as you're working, and it's a really great guide to follow. If you get a little bit too much ink on your blender pen, you can always scribble it onto your scrap paper and remove some ink that way. Now here I'm using that light gray, and I'm just adding some shadows to some of these pumpkins. So again, some of these pumpkins will just be white pumpkins. And then I continued doing that for all of these. Again, I just did one thing at a time. I did all 4, and then I switched to my next color. So here I'm using bright yellow, orange, and beige. So I'll start with that bright yellow, add a little bit of orange to the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to pull those 2 colors in towards the middle. And then since I want this to kind of have a little bit of a rustic look, I'm going to add a little bit of beige at the top and the bottom and pull that in as well. That'll just, again, give it a little bit more of a muted tone. So I'm going to do that again for all of those pumpkins, and then I'll do a couple more in that combination of colors. The colors we're using today are listed in that upper left-hand corner as we're going along. And going back to that watercolor journal collection, that is also being sold as a bundle. And I'll list and link all the products I'm using today down below, and I'll list and link that as well. There is a bit of a discount if you buy the entire bundle together. In that bundle, you will get this set that we're using today, but also there's a set that has a little wagon and a wheelbarrow and the little container that you can put some of these pumpkins in. There's also a little ladder with some pumpkins and a chair. There's some squirrels, another little scarecrow, a little milk can, some bales of hay, a rake, a little truck that is so cute, and a tractor. And then there's just some dies that are for, you get some words, the thankful, harvest, you get another rake and some leaves. And those are just dies. There's no stamps with that set. And then there's a whole collection of sentiments for the fall. And then the brand new paper pack, which is a double-sided 6x6 inch paper pad. And it's just beautiful. It's got all these gorgeous fall colors. And I'll show you that in this video a little bit later, and we'll be using one of those for our little party favors today. So I finished up the coloring, and now I'm using my detail scissors to trim that all the way around, leaving a little tiny white border. And then I'm using my Uni-ball Signo white gel pen to add some highlights here and there. This will just make everything pop out a little bit more. And let me give you a closer look at that finished coloring. So I did that for all 4 of those. Now I've got the Art Impressions Journal Template die set. And I know I've shown you this many times. This is a beautiful collection of dies. It's meant to create that journal, but there's all kinds of frames and borders and tags. We're going to grab this little frame die that has that scalloped edge all the way around. I'm going to score that right down the center, and then I'll just fold this in half. Just pressing that out with the bone folder. And again, I'll do that for all of these. And now let's pick out some pattern paper. Here's that paper pack I described to you earlier. And this is the Harvest Journal Paper Pack collection. And these colors are just gorgeous. And I hope you can see that it has a little bit of a glossy finish to it. So if you are going to do inking on this, you want to make sure you use a permanent ink, or you want to stamp it and do your embossing, because a regular dye ink is probably going to rub off. So just keep that in mind. And these are, again, a double-sided paper, so I'm just trying to find which background I want to use, and I think I'm going to go with that little gingham print there. So let's go ahead and set this paper pack aside. I'm going to cut that pattern paper down to size so it fits on our tag and leaves a little white border all the way around. And going back to that journal template die set, I'm going to grab that little banner. And you can see that it's going to fit on several of these sentiments. These sentiments are from the Harvest Sentiment set from Art Impressions. And so I can select any one that I like there. I'm going to go with that Happy Thanksgiving. Now going back to my paper pack, I'm going to select this really pretty kind of orangey tone. I'm going to stamp that sentiment, going back to that permanent black ink. Again, you want to use something permanent on this paper because of that glossy finish, or do your embossing here so that the ink doesn't move around on you. I don't think a water-based dye ink would dry on this, so keep that in mind. So I'm just pressing that out, and I'll do that for all 4 of these. Now we can go ahead and die cut these. I'm using my Sizzix Sidekick machine to do my die cutting, and I'm going to tape this down with a little bit of purple tape. Also, I decided to add another layer to this gingham paper. I'm going to back it with just a little frame of black. I just think it'll kind of set everything nicely. Just a little tiny black edge, maybe about 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Just using my Tim Holtz paper trimmer to trim that down. I've just taped it in place here right in the corner of the paper, and then I can easily just trim away those other 2 sides. And I thought that really made it stand out a little bit better. So now we can tape this to the front of our little tag. Now keep in mind, this could be used as a place setting. I originally started off thinking these would make great place settings. So if you don't attach it to a goodie bag, and the goodie bags can be a place setting as well, but you could just do this if you don't want to do the candy part of this. You could put the person's name on the front or even on the back. So I've grabbed some little plastic baggies that I had. These measure 3 inches by about 5 inches. And I'm going to put some of those Lindt chocolates in there. These are the white chocolate ones, which I'm kind of into these days. But I really picked them because I thought the wrapping matched really nice with the paper and the coloring that we did. So that's why I picked them. But they have lots of different colors of wrapping. And you could certainly pick anything you want. So now what I want to do is slide this over the closure for the little baggie. And then I'm just using my stapler and I'm going to put a couple staples in there. Now don't worry about it too much because we're going to be covering those staples with that little Happy Thanksgiving banner. So I've got my Tombow double-sided tape and I'm just going to place this down, just checking to make sure that I am going to be covering those little staples. Now, if you prefer, you could tie a little ribbon down at the bottom, just punch a couple holes and then tie a ribbon through there if you want them to be able to take it off without tearing anything. But I wasn't really worried about that. So I'm popping this up with some 3D foam tape and I'm going to place that again over those little staples. And so you can see how pretty these are and how simple and easy these are to do. I mean, you could make a ton of these very quickly. Once all your coloring's done, the rest of this is quite fast. So again, I'm just stapling that in a couple of places. We'll just tape down those pumpkins and pop up our sentiment. Once this was done, I did decide it needed a little something else. So I decided to add a few little embellishments to this. So I'm using the Pinkfresh Studio little pearls. And you can see there's all different sizes of these, so they're just gorgeous. And this collection is called Champagne. These are the metallic pearls in the champagne, and they have a beautiful shimmer to them. So I'm going to glue 3 on each of these. I'm using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I'll just put a little bit down and add 3 different sizes of those little pearls. And that just made everything come together. It just really made everything pop. So I really love how those look. If you're doing them more for children, you could use some brighter colors. You could use some brighter colors for your little embellishments. But I thought I'd try to keep these fairly elegant and simple. So let's take a closer look at these finished goodie bags, and you guys know by now I love making these little goodie bags. It's just so much fun and people just love getting them. It's just a little treat for somebody. Going out to lunch with your friends, this is a great little gift to give them. It doesn't cost much and it really doesn't take that long to do. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to visit me at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. As always, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.